Hey, what's up, y'all? It's AWTM, and I'm here with your recap for Sistas, Season 7, Episode 21, the episode entitled Penultimate. So I did do an early thoughts and predictions video for this episode, and if you haven't checked that out yet, it's available on all my platforms, which you will see in the screen right now, and you can check that out at any time. Let's go ahead and get into this episode. So in the description, it reads, Jordan and Fatima take turns confronting Gary on Andy's behalf. Pam sees Karen in a different light. Zach and Aaron bond over baby furniture. And Sabrina prepares to have her eggs harvested. Harvested is crazy, but so the episode begins with Jordan still in Andy's office because he did bust in there the last episode, and he's trying to get her to tell him what's going on. He was like, I know this couldn't have been fake. You weren't faking. I know you really love me. What's going on? And she kind of tells him that she's in love with Gary, and she couldn't look at him and turned away. So Jordan suspected that Gary had something to do with this, and he rushes out the door to confront Gary. Now, Sabrina is at home. This is the night before her procedure. So she's looking at the baby shoes that she had from the baby shower. And she's just like really excited and kind of thinking to herself. And then she gets an unexpected visitor. It turns out this visitor is Damani. He shows up with a bunch of yellow roses. And he tells her he just wanted to come by and check on her because her procedure would be in the morning. At the salon, Trey shows up with a delivery. Karen confronts Trey about him seeing the other girl. Trey tells Karen that him and Pam, they don't have anything that's very serious, and they are not exclusive, and Pam knows about the other girl. Karen was kind of shocked, but she took Trey's word for it as what it was and kind of gave him a warning not to mess over her girl. Now, at Danny's apartment, she's on the phone with her therapist saying that she needed to talk to her to work through her issues. So I guess she's having some kind of telephone visit because we know Tony has been tripping and Tiffany has been asking for it. So Danny's trying to keep her cool in that situation. Back at the law office, Fatima enters Andy's office and sees that she's visibly upset. She tells her that she had to talk to Jordan and says she was so upset about the situation with Gary. Fatima says, I'm going to handle him, and rushes out. Now, this is the second person that says they're going to handle Gary. And I told you guys on the last early thoughts and predictions video that Fatima is not to be played with. Madam is her cousin, and Madam has all kind of strings and connections and can make Gary go away very easily. So he's really treading on thin ice. At Karen's apartment, Zach arrives to help put up a crib because he said, I heard it arrived. When he gets there, he's shocked to see that Aaron is already there along with Karen's mother, and he's trying to put together a crib as well. So Zach kind of gets in his feelings, and I told y'all this was going to happen. It's like a competition almost. Who can do this better? I can do it better. No, I can do more. And that's how it's probably going to be with these twins. And I said hopefully they'll keep continuing to get along, but it looks like there may be a little tension. Back at the salon, Pam greets Trey with a hug, and Karen walks off to her office. While this is happening, Trey explains to Pam that, she needs to take heed in how she's treating Karen and tells her that Karen is a really good friend. And Pam was like, I thought she was just jealous. And he was like, no, look at things from her perspective. Like, you used her money and her business to start your own business, and it's successful now. And now she's having some hard times and struggling. So you actually do owe her. And it's just crazy that Trey had to be the one to tell Pam this, that she couldn't see this for herself. They also hug and talk about things. And he realizes that he wants to be exclusive with Pam. And it looks like that's what Pam wants as well. Now, I did say that Trey could have been on his way out the door, but it looks like he's actually a good guy, and they did have an understanding. So I guess we will be seeing more of Trey. Back at Sabrina's place, Damani and her said they're having coffee, and I don't know why they're drinking coffee at night, but he does have a coffee cup. But anyway, they're chilling and talking, and she has another unexpected visitor, and it turns out this is Rich. Now, Rich comes in the door. He sees Damani on the couch. He sees Sabrina in her night loungewear, like a nightgown and a robe or something. And he also sees the flowers that Damani brought Sabrina on the table. So he gets upset. So he wants Damani to leave. He starts a confrontation, and Damani stood up and let him know that don't let this suit fool you. I heard that, Damani. So they kind of had a little conflict, but Sabrina de-escalated and Damani ended up leaving. And Rich, he leaves right after that. So why did you have that man leave just so you can leave? That was just crazy to me. He then cut over to Hayden and Tamara. And it looks like Hayden is on his way to work. This is in the morning. And Tamara is questioning him about Miss Marie. Now, he tells her that you can't question me about anything and I can't even look at your phone. He demands her phone. She says no or turns away, and he leaves out the door, and Tamara throws something at him for this. Now, once Hayden leaves, she gets a knock at the door, and it's actually Fatima. Fatima comes by to try to get some information to find out if Hayden knows anything about what Gary is doing with Andy. Tamara tells her that no, she doesn't know anything about that, and he's not stuck on Andy anymore because he's been getting some bomb somewhere else. Now, Tamara really thinks she has that kind of power over anybody, but Gary is not even tripping off of this girl like that. He is obsessed with Andy, so I don't even know why she would think she has any kind of mind control over Gary in the first place. Fatima thanks her for the information and leaves out the house. Danny arrives at Andy's office so they can go see about Sabrina getting her eggs cracked. But she came there early just so she can talk to her about Gary. Andy assures her that she really wants to be with Gary. Now, Jordan arrives at Gary's office and he storms in and grabs him up. And Gary starts to act scared and then he starts laughing and he thinks it's hilarious. Jordan lets him know that he is not going to get away with anything that he's doing. Jordan arrives at Rich's place of business, which is the juice shop. And he starts to let him know what's going on with him and Andy and Gary. And Rich tells him about his problems with Sabrina. Then Tony shows up and he talks about his problems with Danny. And they all kind of have a kumbaya moment about their problems. And they really sit Rich down at this point and let him know that you're going to lose your woman over kids, and Rich is like, I never imagined kids in my life, but I love her. So just as I predicted, I think Rich is kind of coming around and realizing how serious it would be if he does not provide Sabrina with kids and give her what she wants, and that he would have to deal with a whole nother man in her life if he does not do that. Maurice arrives at the fertility clinic along with Sabrina and Damani, and they have a conversation. And also, back at the law firm, Andy and Danny are on their way out and get confronted by Hayden. Hayden tries to tell Andy, where is she going? And she's like, you're not my boss. And he's like, not yet. And she ends up leaving. Now, Fatima finds Gary and confronts him and tells him that he's not going to get away with anything that he's doing. He tries to leave and Fatima grabs him and his security guard activated and Gary was like, no. So he tries to leave again after her talking to him and she grabs him again and he sicked his, and I said sicked, his security on her, and he actually grabbed Fatima and pushed her down and grabbed her purse because she had that thing in her purse. So Gary told him to secure her purse and he pushed her to the ground and it looks like Fatima hurt her elbow or something. So there's going to be hell to pay with Zach and hell to pay with Madam. Gary, you done really messed up now. Now at the fertility clinic, the sisters are all there and Maurice is there as well. They all meet Damani. They notice how handsome he is and Andy gets a phone call. This phone call is from Gary and he lets her know that sending the people at him is not going to work. She's still going to meet him at that altar in that white dress. And she hangs up on Gary. Now, Karen's mother kind of has a talk with Aaron and Zach and lets them know there are things that, either one of them could be better at with the twins when it comes to co-parenting. So they're going to have to use their strengths. And when they have a weakness, they're going to have to kind of let the other parent step in. So they kind of come to an understanding about that. And I hope that works out for them. Like I said, there's a little bit of tension there. So I hope it all works out. Now, at the juice bar, Jordan and Tony try to talk to Rich because he's in fear that he's going to lose his woman. And indeed, he is if he keeps acting like an ass. So they convince him, like, if he really wants his woman, like, what's the problem? So Rich gets it in his mind and he leaves his juice bar and tells them to watch it for him. And he rushes off to go to try to get Sabrina before she gets her eggs cracked by Damani. At the clinic, Sabrina gets called back and they ask her if there's someone she wants to come with her. And she said yes, and all the sisters are excited like it's going to be one of them. And she actually calls Damani to come back there with her. Now, she has to get undressed and get in the robe and everything. And I don't know how much Damani's seen or whatever, but they went back there together. Now, I know if Rich was there when she made that choice, he would be infuriated and pissed to know that she picked Damani over him. Now, back at her house, Fatima makes a call. And guess who this call is to? Like I told y'all, she called Madam and said she needs her to handle something for her. So Gary can really be counting his days, especially with everybody mad at him the way that they are. It's going to be crazy. Now, this is the second to last episode of the season, so things are really heating up. There was a lot more action in this episode and a lot more things going on. Now, back at the clinic, Maurice questions Andy about her client, Marie Willis, and she tells him she can't say anything. So he looks up her new husband because this is like Miss Marie's fifth husband. And he said, oh, he was my biggest client on OnlyFans. So bingo right there. That's the information that Andy needs to take her husband down, to have some dirt on him. So this is a good thing for Andy. This is going to give her the one up on Hayden, and she won't have to worry about him trying to take the position that she wants because she has more information. And Miss Marie is definitely going to be happy about this. As they're talking about this issue, Rich runs in like Superman and he's asking where is Sabrina. They tell him that she's already gone to the back. So Rich just rushes to the back, and they say, no, sir, you can't go back there. He doesn't care. He rushes in anyway. Damani and Sabrina are already in the back, and the nurse is kind of going over things with them, what will happen with her eggs and what will happen with his sperm and everything like that. Throughout this entire episode, they have been referencing Damani's sperm as a nut, saying his dick water, like all kind of crazy things. And it was just hilarious throughout the episode for them to do that. But as they're talking, Rich barges in and he says the only one that is going to be giving her sperm is him. So they're all looking shocked, and the nurse is like, this is highly unorthodox and all of this. So that's where the episode ends. And I think that Rich is going to go ahead and change his mind and give his sperm instead, or just him and Sabrina will have a baby naturally. Now, another thing that could happen is Sabrina just goes ahead and, has Damani sperm there as well because she's so frustrated and upset with Rich, how he took her through so much about this situation. But we'll have to wait for the next episode to find out exactly what's going to happen with that. Like I said, this is the second to last episode. Next week, on Wednesday, the last episode of the season will air, and I know it's going to be interesting. It looks to me, just watching the previews, and I am going to do an early thoughts and predictions on this episode, but from watching the previews, it looks like the episode could play out like the last episode of the original Power, where everybody was mad at Ghost, and he just was so confident and so cocky, and someone took him out, but they really didn't know who took him out. I am so looking forward to this next episode. I cannot wait to do the early thoughts and predictions on it. And this has been the end of this episode. I can't wait to see you guys next time. This has been AWTM. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, and I'll see y'all later. Bye.